Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a epic game between ParanOid and Polt. It is the first game, I believe, of a best of three. It may be the second game, I'm not exactly sure which order they've come in, but it is from the MSI Pro Cup 8. And we have got TSLPolt as the blue Terran player in the bottom right, and we have got ParanOid as the Zerg player in the top left. So this is a ZVT, and boy am I looking forward to it. I have seen the game already and it is fantastic, so do stay around, get a drink, get comfy, lean back in your chair and enjoy the show, because it is fantastic. Like, I know people say that a lot, but this game is awesome. Like, I put it in there in like the high up in best games I've ever seen. So really fun, and I really do hope you enjoy it. Now obviously ParanOid and Polt, both two super good players. ParanOid actually going for that extractor trick to 11, but has got the Overlord on the way. Now there isn't really much rhyme or reason to getting the extractor trick, just getting the Overlord out and getting the 11th drone. It's economically, there are some builds where it favours it, other builds it doesn't. It's one of those things where it's more personal preference, and you tend to see it when Zerg player just forgets to build the Overlord at 9 generally. Anyway though, we will see the Polt is just going for a barracks, very standard, got that supply depot and getting up a refinery as well, so we're probably going to see some early gas play, probably Reapers or Reactor Hellions, purely because that is what Terran players do against Zerg now. They get Reactor Hellions because they're really good for map control, and they're great for denying creep spread, and they can also snipe off some drones, which is even better still. Anyway, we will see that ParanOid has gone for his natural base very early on, very standard as well in ZVT, just getting that early hatch before the pull, because really there's nothing the Terran player can do, and this drone will actually make it into Polt's base, and that's quite useful for ParanOid because it means he does scout that refinery down there, will know roughly what is going on, but the drone is now blocked in and is going to go and die a horrible death, unless of course it kills this SCV, which would be quite an epic win, but Polt just going to run away. But it does delay the supply depot a bit more, and obviously any delay you get is fantastic. Meanwhile, ParanOid is getting out his spawning pool, is getting a gas up as well. And this gas timing is quite different to how a lot of Zerg players are tending to play now, where they hold off the gas and get a more kind of mineral heavy build early on to get an extra pool, to get more lings and stuff like that. But ParanOid is just going to get that out, probably for the speed and also to deal with these Hellions, which no doubt are coming, because there's the reactor drops as I look at it, and there's a factory on the way as well. So almost certainly going to see reactor Hellions now, unless it's all some kind of ploy by Plot to trick us and deceive us into thinking that it is reactor Hellions, but really it's some magical new strategy he's come up with. Anyway, ParanOid has got his natural base up now. Meanwhile, if we just look at Polt's base, I mean, he's not doing too much. He's building SCVs, building reactor, and building now a command center, so a very early expansion coming out. And you can get away with that purely because these reactor Hellions give you such great map control that there's no reason not to. And if we take a look here, we're probably going to see speed come down any second now for ParanOid. There we go. That was all. I only guessed that because obviously of his gas, but he's keeping workers in gas now, and that's slightly unusual. Not something quite often you see it pulled out. A spine caller on the way there just to defend against these Hellions even better, and I'll be interested to see what this extra gas is going to be used for. It could be upgrades, it could be banings, it could be roaches, who knows at the moment, it could even be a lair. But we will see that this Overlord is possibly going to die from those Marines, and there is a Zergling who managed to sneak its way in the base. We'll see that this command center is on its way down. Now that is very useful scouting information for all ParanOid, and basically it just says that he's not going to have too much pressure coming in on him, but he is going to have to deal with it. Some Hellions, but there is an expansion coming down behind, and obviously that means the ParanOid needs to get his own expansion down behind this, and mostly just these two Hellions moving forward. That spine will be able to make sure work of it along with the Queens. And I mean, the one thing which is really interesting to me is, oh, there we go, the Roach Warren has now started, so an Evolution Chamber and a Roach Warren on the way somewhere. Although where exactly, there we go. So a Roach Warren as well coming down for ParanOid. That's what that extra gas is going to be used for. I was sitting there thinking, he's already saved up 200 gas, what is he going to do with it? And two more Hellions are on the way now, and obviously once you start getting up to kind of 4-6 Hellions, it becomes a bit more of a threat to the drones, but ParanOid should be able to hold a great evolution chain replacement, preventing them from running around the back there, and really just a nice solid play. And if we take a look down here, we will see the barracks coming down here. A tech lab has been built getting stim, and the factory just moved off, another barracks on the way, and Polt just moving his expansion down, and now we're up to 6 Hellions, so Polt has got quite a few units now. Obviously 6 Hellions are very, very effective against drones, and can be quite difficult to deal with, and with only a couple of lings and a couple of spines and queens, it could be difficult, but obviously those 10 roaches are about to pop, which will make those Hellions absolutely useless, and will do practically nothing. So this is a very, very nice play by ParanOid here. Polt meanwhile behind this, building up his own wall off, and just getting a tech lab on, no, a reactor on that factory. So going for a reactor starport. Here comes the roaches, and they are going to be able to pick off one of those Hellions and force the others back. There's no way Hellions can engage, well, roaches like that. It just doesn't work at all. So we will actually see Polt pulling right back. He's got that reactor starport. He is now getting a tech lab on this factory and a reactor there. Stim is about to finish as well, and those Hellions have actually stopped, but managed to snipe off a couple of Zerglings there and a massive Baneling Morphin, well 5. So ParanOid is actually just going to try and do a lot of damage here very, very early on. Good marine placement though up on this high ground, and that should, in theory, prevent those Banelings doing too much. It depends all about where they run through. And here we go. ParanOid is moving up, and he has got about 20 supply lead here. So getting able to pick off those 2 supply depots was quite a win. Those Banelings are moving forward, and this natural base is going to have to pull back. Polt will get the lift, so it won't go down. And I mean, the thing is though, it's just delaying this base of Polt for as long as possible. ParanOid doing absolutely amazing there. Behind this, ParanOid is getting 2 more gas, also that +1 melee attack, and a second evolution chamber, and his 3rd base. So that's really great. I mean, if you attack, expand, and tech behind it, and you'll be fine. And are we going to get a Zergling surround here? I mean, that could be very, very close. They will get round, and Banelings coming in. Banelings do huge damage against Hellions, as just shown. And all of those Hellions will now go down. That was a big, big hit. And still, ParanOid is preventing this 3rd base of Polt, 2nd base of Polt going down, rather. So, I mean, that's quite a big hit. But he's trying to land again, and Polt's just going to have to lift it, because, I mean, there's just so many units there. And to be honest, these Marines are going to stim forward and try and go for this, but will manage to snipe off one Baneling, go get the other one. There we go, and a good lift there. And that was really, really nice play. Obviously, ParanOid has nothing to shoot up. ParanOid's getting his 4th gas now behind this, and also a macro hatch. Polt getting his 3rd base as well. The first tank is out sieging up, and now that will make this a lot easier to hold for Polt here. And ParanOid just moving back, and that was a very, very good play. Look how much it's delayed that natural base. I mean, Polt hasn't been mining for that for ages. He got that command center very, very early, and this is going to be quite difficult for Polt to come back from, because, well, just look at it. He's not been mining from that base for so long. He's going to get mined out his main very, very quickly if he's been using mules. But Polt is looking to put on some counter pressure now. Just a couple of Marines. They don't have combat shield yet. However, they do have stim. They're on the way for ParanOid, and obviously Polt has to be very, very careful here, engaging on creep with so many Banelings there, and the Zerglings will be able to get us around, and if any big Baneling hits go off, this could be huge, and they do go off. Massive, massive Baneling hits are going to go down on Polt's Marines, and this is just very, very solid play by ParanOid here. A drop will go up on the high ground, but I mean, ParanOid 1 step ahead, moving his army into the correct position to deal with that. And his lair is finishing up his +1 carapace, getting Baneling speed, getting his 5th and 6th gas behind this. Meanwhile, the command center for Polt is just about to finish, so he could get his 3rd base quite quickly, getting the +1 infantry attack and the combat shield, and also getting his 4th gas. So I mean, both players are playing really solidly, and the infestation pit is also on its way out now for ParanOid. He's getting some more spines just to defend this 3rd base from any kind of drops. I believe there is one. Yep, here we go, another one up in the main base as well, just defend it from drops. And we will see these couple of Marines move forward as scan goes off, and that will pick off 2 creep tumors, which is a very, very nice position of a scan. A couple of Banelings get taken out as well. This is just great micro, but those Marines are going to get surrounded by a fantastic lift. Means that nothing really goes down, and if you look at the resources lost, it's pretty damn even for both players. I mean, that is incredibly even, so great play on both sides. Pathogen Glands is on its way now for ParanOid, so those infestors will be starting to come out soon. We've also got the 2-2 upgrades for the Zerg melee, and obviously all of ground armor, and the Baning speed is about to finish up as well. But this is a great tank position. This could be very difficult to break with the army that ParanOid does have, although those rocks are going down to come and harass this third base. But this tank is pretty much covering all of that, just needs the vision up there, and really good play. Another hatch, and it actually looks like ParanOid is going to be taking this gold base as well, so that is very nice. 4 infestors are on the way. That +1 infantry attack is about to finish for Polt. He's getting a bunker up in the front position here just to defend this area as best he can, and even Hive coming out now, so that is a quite early Hive at the 14 minutes. Not incredibly early, I mean you sometimes see it at 12 minutes, but 14 minutes is relatively early for a Hive, and really ParanOid can do it. He's getting his 4th base up, he's been macroing up incredibly well. If we look at the work account, it's 69 to 62, so, and we've got some burrow banelings. Oh, I do hope some burrow banelings go off. Not for the fact that it will be bad for Polt or good for ParanOid, just the burrow banelings are awesome fun. They're like, well, you're happily walking across the map being like, yeah, I'm safe, the army's all the way back there, and then green goo comes flying out the ground, and it tends to make people rage. Probably not Polt because he's a pro player, and we all know there's only one pro player who rages, mentioning no names. But, I mean, at the lower levels, a burrow baning can be huge, and this one marine is going to die a horrible death. And that wasn't even a fair fight. That was a slight overreaction, sending that many Zerglings. But look at all these burrow banelings, and if Polt moves out badly here, he could kill his whole army. Oh, it's too exciting. And we have got marine up here just checking for that base. Obviously, the 7th and 8th gas on the way now for ParanOid. ParanOid getting the adrenal glands upgrade. His Ultralisk Cavern is about to finish, getting +3 melee attack, and also +2 ground carapace is about to finish. 2-1 for the ground infantry for Polt on the way, as well as +1 vehicle attack. And really, I'm just waiting for Polt to move out, but he's not going to. Polt's just going to sit still. Building a command center up here, it could be for an expansion, or maybe just for a planetary fortress to defend the back here. The Ultralisk upgrade, armor upgrade on the way. Adrenal glands nearly finished. +3 carapace just started now as well for ParanOid. And concussive shells on the way for Polt, so this is all pretty crazy. Did I miss a drop up here, or is these Zerglings just sitting around for fun? I'm not quite sure, and this expansion is going to get blocked because there is obviously the marine there. And here we go, a good scan. None of the burrow banelings are going to be able to go off because they were all spotted, but it does mean that a couple of scans will go off just to make sure now, and probably will slow Polt down as he moves across the map. Will pick up a creep tumor or two. Not going to be able to get that second one though, and a fungal growth on those clumped up marines would be huge, but I don't think it is going to go down quite yet. And I mean, this is all pretty crazy, and both players just baiting each other. Neither wants to engage. I mean, if Polt moves too fast forward, he will get a nasty positioning where he is unsieged. And I mean, the one thing he's got to be careful of is not exposing himself for a Ling run by from the side, which would be quite effective. But obviously, some tanks left back for Polt there, so that is very nice. A good play, and Polt is just going to come over and take the. Well, it's not gold base on this map. I did say gold base, but it's not. It's that was a slip up earlier on. It's not a gold base. It's just a standard base on the tournament version of the map. But well, taking his 4th base now very quickly. So both players on 4 bases now, and I mean, this could be good. And a burrowed infestor is going to go down. We could see some nice little use of infested Terrans here, using the splash of one tank to kill another. And are we going to see that go down? A couple of infested Terrans are dropped, and that will eat up some tank fire, and some ultras coming in, some banings coming in. A big move forward. No infestors, but a counter push down here as well. And this is really where you just want to be able to see more. You want to be able to zoom out as much as possible, but you can't. And well, that was a nice little hit from ParanOid, who remaxes instantly on 7 ultras, because if you have a lot of money, just hold down the U key, and then you don't anymore. Meanwhile, Polt, he's still in a good spot. I mean, he's got that strong defensive position, but he is starting to spread his army thin. A planetary fortress down at his 4th base, but just look at the amount of units coming in now for ParanOid. He is a 3-3, or 4-3 for the ultras, against, well, 2-1 and 1-0 for Polt. So massive upgrade advantage here for ParanOid, and he is going to be taking his 5th base as well down here, and still a lot going on, and a because ParanOid actually moved his army back, Polt is using that to move his tank line forward. And if he does get the siege of that 4th base of ParanOid, could be in a lot of problems, and he will have to pull all the drones back. These ultras are trying to creep around the side, but obviously great use of a sensor tower will give away exactly where he is. And I mean, sensor towers are underused, I feel, at quite a lot of levels of play. Not the highest level, but at kind of the lower levels. Sensor towers is great, and here we are, big engagement going on. Let's just get rid of this UI so we can see what is happening. And just look at it all. This is mass attacking of ultras, and ultras are very, very effective. A couple of roaches out the back as well, just to try and pick this off. And I think this is going very, very much in favour of ParanOid, although having said that, he's going to have to pull back because the planetary fortress is just going to do too much damage, and there are just a lot of tanks left. So, wow, that was a big, big engagement there. And it looks like ParanOid is going to have to pull back, and he's going to lose this 4th base. He wasn't able to clear out these tanks in this position here. What ParanOid could really do with here is some kind of air support. Even a couple of Mutalisks would be very, very effective at picking off these tanks, because Marines, because there are no mutas on the field, then the Marines are really able to go very, very far away from the tanks, and the tanks are able to take out this 4th base, which is never a good position to be in. But another 4th base is in position here for ParanOid. He's getting those gases back up again, and I mean, this is all a pretty crazy game so far. And Polt actually bringing back, getting his own 3-3 upgrades for his infantry, which will level up the upgrade advantage that ParanOid had. And it does look like a drop is going to be coming down here as well, but there are a couple of Zerglings here. Good overlord position as well. I think it would get scouted, but it all depends whether ParanOid can react quickly enough. 3 ultras, 18 Zerglings on the way. Just more tanks, marauders, and Marines coming out for Polt, because obviously Marines are very, very good. And we have got some drone transfers going on, a big movement forward here, and it looks like there was an infestor just messing around, and here comes a drop down. And if you look at the minimap, Polt's army is so out of position. We're going to see an engagement over here as well. Where do I look? This is just, oh, this is where you want to be in 2 places at once. So this is a massive engagement coming in from ParanOid here. He is going to clean up most of this, and I mean, he does manage to clean that up quite nicely, but obviously this 3rd base of ParanOid is going to go down. There's big damage being done, and it looks like ParanOid is still not pulling back, and obviously he's lost that 3rd base, losing quite a few drones. This Spire almost certainly going to get focused down, and just a Spine and a couple of ultras coming in. The Spire does fall, that really delays any kind of Broodlord tech, and a big lift goes down, and of course nothing that can attack it. Now it has gone, and basically those medevacs are getting a bit low, and all of, well, ParanOid's army is back. Some fungal growth will probably go off, but it's going to take a lot of fungal growth to take out some medevacs on their own. And I mean, one will fall. Will the second one go down with most of the units? No. Meanwhile, Polt has just moved up in this position here and has sniped off the 4th base of ParanOid again. Absolutely great play, and look at the amount of drones getting taken out. Now, I think that drop will get cleaned up, but if we just look around, it's just, this is pretty damn crazy. And it looks like ParanOid is just going to go for the attack. Meanwhile, the drop is going to go on to the main. This is a huge drop. Meanwhile, ParanOid is just pushing down with his army, staying around the middle at the moment though. He's got to pull back, otherwise he's going to lose his hive and all of his tech. He's going to lose the pool as well, which would be absolutely massive. Meanwhile, of course, ParanOid is just coming in. Polt's drop doing huge damage. ParanOid is moving straight in, trying to focus down that planetary fortress. It is going to go down. All of the SCVs are going to die as well from those fungal growths if he isn't careful. And just a massive engagement going on here. All of those tanks are going to get cleaned up very, very quickly. The SCVs even getting in on the fight. Meanwhile, the hive has dropped down to this top position here, and there's just so many units, and ParanOid is so far out of position. He can just start waltzing forward though, and we could even see this go to a base race here. But of course, ParanOid has nothing which can attack flying units, so Polt can literally just lift. And the Ultras Cavern, the Infestation Pit, the Baning Nest, all going down. Really, ParanOid is being sent back to the Dark Ages by Polt, and so many Overlords are going to go down as well. That's a big loss. Both of these hatcheries probably will go down. The Evolution Chambers obviously are useless at the moment because all of the upgrades have been researched. Both of these hatcheries will go down. Meanwhile, we have got ParanOid just cleaning up the base here. But look at this. This is a strong wall off. I don't actually think the ParanOid can completely push through that, especially when the rest of this army does get back. And these medevacs, marauders and marines are just showing why they are so effective. More creep tumors being picked off, great scans, and this, even the third base looking like it is going to go down. Having said that though, ParanOid has pulled back. He is massively supply blocked though, and he doesn't even have a spawning pool. A big fungal growth goes off, which will allow ParanOid to kill quite a lot of Polt's army. And another big fungal growth, chain fungling these medevacs as we speak, and I mean, it all depends whether any can go down. One will go down, the second one does go down, but the third gets away just about. And, well, this is pretty good. A burrowed Zergling down there for ParanOid, preventing that third base to go back down. Obviously, ParanOid does have this fourth base in the goal, well, what is the goal position on the ladder, and he's also got this third base over here. But if we look at the drone count, 32 to 15, so few workers for both players. This game is getting crazy, and somehow they're both still in it. I mean, who is... I don't even know who's kind of in the lead at the moment. I'd have to say Polt, just because he's got this base here, and he's got so many tanks, but they aren't sieged up, and the Ultras and Infestors do get very, very close. Some big fungal growths would be huge here, and amazingly not that many did go off, and all of the tanks are going to get cleaned up. And if this goes down, then to be honest, I think ParanOid is going to have it, but a good lift does happen. But obviously all of the tanks have been killed. Now, that is absolutely massive in terms of what's going to happen next, and to be honest, I don't know. This is getting pretty damn crazy. There aren't any more tanks. There's 3 on the way though, so quickly getting those tanks back up. Obviously lifting the command center is a great move. Lair is on the way in this position. The Baning Nest is being rebuilt. This pool was rebuilt, but it was on creep, and of course now it isn't, so it will slowly die. And obviously no Lair, so you can't even use an Overlord to drop the creep down there. And we will see that a big infested Terran drop went down here, and I don't actually think they'll be able to snipe down this command center, but this is all pretty damn crazy. I wouldn't like to call this right now, but what an awesome game. And we will see here the Polt is moving forward. He's going to take that watchtower, and obviously he has got this place down, is morphing into an orbital command, no, a planetary fortress rather. So we'll have a good defense there. The Spire on the way now for ParanOid. He does have that pull down, but he still has no infestation pit, and it's all just pretty crazy. And both players are running very low on units. But, I mean, Polt still has all of his production. He just needs to get some income, and he will be fine. Another nice use of Burrowed Infestor. Probably going to see some infested Terrans drop down here, just to try and... But a money scan goes off there for Polt, and we'll pick that off for free. And, I mean, any unit you kill for free at this stage is brilliant. And, I mean, yet again, this fourth base under siege. Obviously, because you can attack it from the high ground, all the drones having to be pulled back, the spawning pool being rebuilt, because this one is eventually going to die as it is off creep. And, I mean, if this lair goes down, it will yet again send ParanOid back to the Stone Ages. And if we take a look up here, obviously he has got 3 bases now mining, but I mean, having said that, this base is pretty mined out for Polt. He has got this kind of center position which hasn't been mined hardly at all, but having said that, ParanOid is moving in now, and it looks like he's going to be going for a big engagement, but obviously the planetary fortress is there, the tanks are there to back it up. Is he going to focus fire it down? He is, and look at the incredible speed those Baning Ultra Ling Force does take down that planetary fortress. Meanwhile, that infestor will get taken out. Try to drop down some nice infested Terrans, does get them down. And to be honest, now that has gone down, I would say this game is slightly in favour of ParanOid, but obviously these tanks have to be dealt with, and this fourth base, or well, centre base now, it's pointless numbering them, of ParanOid is going to get sniped. There is nothing he can really do about it, because if he engages, he's got big problems. 10 mutas are on the way though. The infestation pit started, and that was started before that lair went down, so good timing there by ParanOid. ParanOid, for the first time in a while, is actually behind in supply, and Polt is just methodically moving forward. We have got what looks like a Zergling run by coming down, and I mean, he's going to try and get us around on this base, pick up a couple of SCVs, a couple of mules, will force the lift on that command center. And I mean, here we go, the mutas are coming down as well. They're going to try and focus us down, but so many marines there, and the marines coming back to try and deal with the Mutalist will have to run back. But no, ParanOid with a bit of miscontrol here. All of his mutas are going to go down. That was a massive loss for ParanOid there. Could have controlled that better for sure. And meanwhile, some Zerglings have managed to get into the main base of Polt. I missed that, but they're just pulling out now because of the lift. They will get taken down if they are not careful, but meanwhile, this is all pretty crazy. Just, it looks like ParanOid is just remaxing up on a lot of Zerglings. Of course, 3/3 Zerglings with adrenal glands are very strong, but look at the worker count. It is now 16 to 6. This game is crazy. Really, it's all going to come down to kind of who can pick off this army in the most cost-effective way, because really, ParanOid has 2 mining, well, 1.5, that's going to be out soon, compared to just the 1 mining base of Polt. So they are both really struggling in terms of income. Polt has more tech though, and that could be key. there is a burrowed Zergling down at his natural base, just preventing the command center from landing. Having said that though, Polt moving forward, taking out the Baning Nest and the Spawning Pool, and again, I mean, this is just putting ParanOid back to the Stone Ages in terms of tech. Meanwhile though, ParanOid is just going to come and counter-attack, but he's got nothing that can shoot up. And, I mean, this is a slight oversight that, obviously, and a slight problem Zergs have is, you can have this dominating ground army, but the Terran player can just lift up his buildings, and then you have problems. Meanwhile though, these ultras are going down, and at this stage of the game, I think Polt pretty much has this. If he picks off those infestors, which he does, I mean, this is just in such a strong position now for Polt. I think Polt is going to take this. That is my official prediction right now. But having said that, I don't know what's going to happen in this game. One Marine comes up. One Brave Marine will be able to take out quite a few drones. And obviously, with so few on the field, every drone you kill is huge. And it is going to stop the mining at this base. Just one Marine. Meanwhile, though, just 2 Ultras, 1 Infestor, and a couple of other units coming out. Those 4 Infestors are about to pop. But, I mean, 3 down here. It all depends on the positioning. The tanks get great sieges up. And ParanOid's going to have to go for this. But Polt just has such an amazing position. Some Infested Terrans going forward, burrowing those Infestors to try and do it. But everything was cleaned up. And Polt has, without a doubt, won this game now. And wow, what a game it was. Just waiting for the GG really, and there we go. So I hope you did enjoy this game, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Twitter. And also check out Game 2, which may have been Game 1, but of course it's best of 3, so who knows what game it was. I don't. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you did enjoy.